good ones, and I will never take that away from them.
Right.
But it didn't work for me in either circumstance this week. And I don't know. You could hardly call Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins cinematic because it was all ring work. It was
a gimmick match. It was a gimmick match that missed the mark.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. WWE
also, this is Extreme Rules, and there really wasn't very many stipulation matches.
Yeah, but you think about it. WWE did an eye for an eye match. Back in the day, Impact Wrestling did a regular title match where Sami Callihan fucking busted Eddie Edwards' eye with a baseball bat. Legit, for real.
Right. Yeah, if you're going to take out somebody's eye, you don't announce it weeks in advance and build up to a match for it. It's got to happen, right?
Right. Yeah,
that was another thing that put a sour taste in my mouth because I'm like, oh, somebody's going to lose an eye. It loses all effect at that point.
Yeah, if it would have been just an Extreme
I'm coming for your eye. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, if it was an Extreme Rules match and then it ended when somebody lost an eye and so the referee called it right there, he's like, no. Because, you know what, I don't like when they call off Extreme Rules matches, but if somebody loses an eye, I'm okay with you calling that off. So that would have maybe worked.
Next pay-per-view, you're going to get an intergender match, and it ends when somebody rapes the other person.
WWE SVU.
That's terrible. It's probably a not good joke, but I don't think there's any victims to the joke, so I think I might be okay.
I think it's very tasteless, Paystee.
Tasteless Paystee. That's my new name.
But then, so let's go with the palate cleanser then. We seen the horror show that was the horror show at Extreme Rules.
Yes.
Let's move into greener pastures. Impact Slammiversary 2020. Paystee, I also didn't get to see this one. I was excited to watch this one. I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't get to see this one.
I did.
Give us some insight, Paystee.
Well, okay, I started it out, and I wasn't sure how much attention I was going to pay until about the middle of the third match, when I was like, yes, I'm in, okay. So the first match, the first two matches I don't got a lot to say about. The second match I was never going to have a lot to say about in the first place. Let's make that point very clear.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, the guy's got his own award for being washed up. I mean, it's pretty, yeah, we'll get to that. But, first up we had a tag team match where the Motor City Machine Guns defeated the Rascals in a tag team open challenge. Everybody thought it was going to be the Good Brothers, but of course the Good Brothers announced it the night before at midnight on their podcast that you can only listen to via Patreon. See, we're nice podcasters. You can listen to us for free, and we just pick up the scraps, which ain't shit. But we don't take that shit to Patreon. So thank us by going to facebook.com/Beasties Podcast and just being active.
Just say thank you.
Just anything. Don't say thank you. I'm not digging for that. Just tell me to fuck myself. I don't care. Just say something. This looks like it would have been a really great match.
Pleasant surprise, am I right? I don't think I certainly didn't see that.
Motor City Machine Guns. Hella good surprise.
Yeah,
dude, it's so weird because Impact feels so new, but all these faces are so familiar to the company. It's good.
So many of them are, and it's a nice blend of old and new, which to me is kind of when Impact was at its height. This was kind of what we seen. We had the Stings and the Kurt Angles and the Christian Cages, but then we also had the Eric Youngs and we had the Motor City Machine Guns. And we had the Austin Arieses, and we had all these young up-and-coming guys, your Bobby Roodes, that it worked really well. And I think every pro wrestling company has kind of worked that way.
Bobby Roode, please go back.
Right? You look at WWE, and they have a good mixture of old and new. You look at AEW, obviously, they got their Jericho and their Moxley and their... I know they got more than that, but they got Jericho and Moxley. But then they also have two young and up and comers like their MJFs and their Jungle Boys. And
well, I guess you could call Luke Harper more of a veteran. He was in WWE for a minute.
Yeah, Luke Harper's a veteran. Yeah, for sure. So I think it works best that way. And this is the guys that were the kind of firecracker upstart underdogs when Impact was making a name for itself. Now some of them are back to strengthen that.
Dude, Motor City Machine Guns were so young when they were fresh in Impact, and now they came back and they're looking a little older.
Motor City and Beer Money were two of the best. That was one of the best rivalries ever.
That wasn't even really that long ago. That was within Beef Sticks podcast lifespan.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure, against the Rascals, who are, again, young up-and-comers that are definitely making names for themselves. Of course, you got Trey as the third member. This iteration in the tag match had Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier, but also Trey is in that mix, and he's going to be in the 5-way for the Impact World Championship.
Yes.
Yet, but he is the standout. But all three of these are really good guys who have a future in this business.
Very much. Oh my God.
Trey may be the only one that has a main event future in this business, but that doesn't mean everything or anything.
Right. Dude, Trey, I worry that he's going to get picked up by WWE and Ricochet, because that's what he reminds me exactly of Ricochet, except maybe younger and a little faster.
Right.
But that's my biggest worry. The Rascals are very impressive, though. Glad to see Motor City Machine Guns back. I like it. I like everything that Slammiversary managed to pull out in the surprise department. It was all good. Up next, we had Old School Rules, a TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, seeing Moose defeating Tommy Dreamer, who I picked sarcastically, but then we didn't do the show, and I just kind of screenshotted and clipped the predictions from last week and put them up on our Facebook. That's facebook.com/Beefsticks Podcast. And I had to stick with what I said.
And let's be honest, this is almost a fake title. Like, Moose just brought it back. I'm not even sure how he got it. I don't know if there's a storyline how he got it or not, but he didn't win it from anybody.
He just started calling himself it, and now he's calling himself a wrestling god too.
He brought it back. It's literally the old TNA World Heavyweight Championship before they were Impact. And I'm split on it. Like I was telling Paystee before we recorded, part of me is like, I kind of dig having the TNA champion. I would change it to TNA Championship, but having that as like your secondary title, like your US or your IC title, because obviously the X Division title is more like your cruiserweight or light heavyweight.
Tell that to Willie Mack.
Yeah. Exactly. I know, right? But I really think Impact just really needs to keep themselves distanced from the old TNA moniker and name. So I'd almost rather they didn't, but
it works for Moose's character, though. He's a very arrogant bastard.
Oh, it does. And it works for Tommy Dreamer, who obviously is an old school wrestler.
He just thinks he's back in the day.
He thinks he's going for the ECW championship. Right. He thinks he's going after Mustafa Ali.
No, I didn't really watch this match. I did hear Moose call himself a wrestling god more times than I wanted to. And I did see the finish where Tommy Dreamer poured out the thumbtacks and looked real regretful while doing so because he knew he had to go into them. And boy, did he go into them hard.
Paystee, this is a match between two guys that I've just, no matter how much people push them, I've never gotten into.
Yeah. I don't get the Moose hype. I don't. I never really got the Tommy Dreamer hype. I mean, I've been on the Tommy Dreamer boat in recent years, but I quickly learned that that's not the way you go.
He was always a mediocre guy, and I liked his feud with Raven, but I liked Raven's end of it better than Tommy's.
He's like the Spike Dudley of ECW.
Except Spike Dudley was in ECW.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Spike Dudley knew to get out when he got out. I think he's out. I could be wrong.
I mean, he was out when they closed.
Then we had the match that finally caught my attention. The gauntlet for the number one contender for the Knockouts Championship. Seeing AEW... what do you call it when somebody leaves?
Defectee?
Yeah, there you go. Defectee Kylie Ray defeating the likes of Alicia Edwards, Havoc, Kira Hogan, Katie Forbes, Kimber Lee, Nevaeh, Madison Rain, Rosemary, Susie, Tasha Steelz, and by last eliminating the true champion, Taya Valkyrie. The order of this match made sense. A lot of the women I was here to see got eliminated too quickly, in my opinion. And I don't really get pushing Kylie Ray. But, I mean, sure.
I agree. I don't think... I mean, Kylie Ray just came here. She just came here off of AEW. She just came here off of a kind of an odd departure from AEW.
Some kind of a mental break of sorts.
And, you know, you got women like Havoc. You got Kira Hogan. You got Kimber Lee. You have Madison Rain. You have Rosemary, Tasha Steelz, and, of course, Taya Valkyrie, who I really didn't want to see them put the title back on right away, so no. I'm okay with that. But you have all of these women that can really be your flagship women, including the two women who are in the Knockouts Championship also. But Kylie Ray's not a bad choice, and she gets name recognition, and she obviously plays off the AEW name. But I just think, you know, Paystee, you picked Rosemary, I picked Havoc. Either one of those two women, I would have been more than happy with winning over Kylie Ray.
Yeah, there's a lot of women who've been there putting in the work that deserve it a lot more than fresh-faced smiley Kylie. But I guess it works. I don't see her winning her championship challenge.
I would hope not, especially considering who the champion is, who we'll get to later on.
Right. And I will just sit back and wait for the day when Kylie loses her smile. And then I'll be on board. So then we had a very entertaining, fast-paced X Division Championship match, seeing Chris Bay dethrone reigning champion Willie Mack. I don't even know how Willie Mack wound up with the X Division Championship, but that man does move.
I was worried about this one because I picked Chris Bay because I felt like it's time to move on, but I also was like, Willie Mack is such a huge superstar, and Chris Bay is just an up-and-comer. This was the one I was most nervous about picking, but I did pick Chris Bay, and he did end up going over, and I think the right guy went over. I didn't watch the match though, so I don't know how it went, Paystee.
Well, he has his manager, and his manager ended up getting kicked out pretty close to the beginning of the match, which made it seem like Bay was going to lose. I'm not too familiar with Chris Bay. I can't recall another match I've seen with him in it. But with that being said, he definitely impressed me. He definitely deserved to beat Willie Mack for the championship, and Willie Mack is amazing. God, has there been Willie Mack versus Keith Lee?
There has in Independence, yes.
Yeah, I want to see that on like a grander scale. Dude, That would be a great WrestleMania match somewhere down the line.
Oh gosh, if only. That would be awesome.
But no, Chris Bay impressed me. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as the X Division champion. He's definitely more on the heel end, and I like that. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's this is going to be weird to say maybe, but it seems like Impact is way more willing to put people of color over than some of the other major